This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while. I'm going to show you how to set up a free ticketing system so that you could stop using email for all of your support requests that you might get from clients or customers. I got to tell you, this one change made a huge difference in how I run everything that I do, switching from having everything come into my email inbox and instead going into a ticket desk. Hi, my name is Adam from WPCrafter.com, where I make WordPress tutorial videos for non-techies. If you're new here, consider clicking on the subscribe button. And we're talking about Freshdesk. This is the ticketing system that I decided to start using for WP Crafter, and they have a free plan, and I'll just tell you, I'm on the free plan. It's a free forever, and I think if you look at what it does, it totally would meet your needs, and it's totally going to meet my needs. Now, before I go into showing you how to set this up for you, there's a couple little intricacies that I'm going to show you how to take care of so that you don't run into any trouble or problems. And this is just from my own experience of using this for a few months. But before I do that, I just want to take a moment to kind of describe why you should consider using a ticket desk. And it doesn't have to be Freshdesk. I'm just now a huge believer in ticket desks. So prior to this, I was doing everything through my email inbox. I use Apple Mail. I also have an iPhone that has an email application on that. And people would send me requests via email. As a matter of fact, when I switched to Freshdesk, I was already receiving about 300 emails a day. And it was okay when maybe I was receiving 50 emails a day. But then when it got up to about 300 emails a day, I found more and more of my time not being productive on growing what I do, but instead stuck in that email inbox. And what would happen would be, and it's no one's fault, so I would say, here's my email address, and people would send me maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 emails, just bam, 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 bam. Next thing you know, each day I would have this huge, daunting list of emails to go through, and it would be so rough I wouldn't even want to touch it sometimes, because it was just, I knew that it wouldn't be a quick fix. There's no quick wins in processing it. I would go in there and it would be a 3 or 4 hour process just to kind of get caught up. And so what ended up happening, this was this kind of bottleneck of productivity. And what would be the next layer of problems is it would be hard to track full conversations if I'm having them in 3 or 4 different emails. So you have your email chains, and so there would be a lot of loose ends if someone's saying something on this email and then something different on this email, but they think that it's just all one email, like they're the only person that I'm communicating with. And so it would become very unmanageable. It was just very unmanageable. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's been using Freshdesk for a long time. I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try this out. And I was actually quite surprised at how much more peace of mind that I have now that I'm using Freshdesk, and things are so much more streamlined. It is streamlined, not seamlined. It's streamlined, and I'm so grateful that I made this jump. Now, I had some initial apprehensions. I didn't want people that needed or wanted to communicate with me. I didn't want them to have to log into some website and check a ticket and all that. I wanted there to be a more personal approach, and that's what is the beauty of Freshdesk. And I'm sure other ticketing systems do the same thing. For me, I'm in the app, right? And I have my list of people that are sending me stuff, and it all gets managed on Freshdesk. But for the person communicating with me, it's all via email. They don't have to log into anything or any of that stuff. It's all done through their inbox. So it's a seamless thing for them. And that's what really made it so this was something that I thought would be have as little friction as possible to start implementing. Now, Freshdesk does have some plans. If you want to go to Freshdesk's website, go to WPCrafter.com/Freshdesk. Today I have the free plan. I got their plan page right here. Today I have their free plan, and I don't see a need at all for me to switch from the free plan to one of these paid plans, and it's working out perfectly fine for me. However, there might be something here that you might want, or there that you might want, that might only be in a paid plan. For me so far, the free plan is working out perfect. You can have unlimited agents, and so right here it says you get the email channel. That's basically people are communicating to you through email, even though you're communicating back through Freshdesk, and it's a totally seamless process. It's actually fantastic. Okay, so you get some basic features here. So what I'm going to do now in this video is I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'll show you how I set it up and how I'm using it. So we'll create, a example account and all that kind of stuff. We'll set it all up here right now in this video. So let me just say before I do that, though, I'm not saying that Freshdesk is the best help desk support solution out there. There are a dime a dozen. There are so many. I think they offer this free plan because Freshdesk is actually a suite of applications. So if you went, actually, where would it be? Here on the homepage, if I scrolled up, here it says products. You can see they have a suite of products that they offer. I'm only using the Freshdesk, and I don't really have a need for the other tools. So it does kind of make sense for them to have a freemium model where they let you in. And I'm not worried about Freshdesk going out of business. You're going to see how I have it set up that you always have a plan B if you wanted to switch. And they're backed by big venture capital dollars. So, and I'm pretty sure they're already a profitable company. They've been around quite a long time. So, but I just wanted to point out that I'm not saying that this is better than all these other tools out there. I'm just saying this is the one that I chose to go with on recommendations of other people. I didn't do all the research to find the very best help desk ticket support system. This has been fantastic for me, so I am set. There's no need for paralysis by analysis for me when it comes to this. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to come to this page, WPCrafter.com/Freshdesk. You're going to click on Start Trial. It says Start Trial, and I was apprehensive because I'm thinking, am I signing up for a trial or it says free. And so there was a little bit of confusion initially for me. So you are signing up for the free account, just so you know. I don't remember if they gave you access to the higher version and then it resets down, but I think I just went back down to the free plan immediately. So we'll go through that in this video. So obviously what you're going to do right here is you're going to pop in your information, but then there's this one spot right here that says help desk name. So what you're going to have is like a subdomain on the Freshdesk.com platform. So it can be whatever you want in that front part of that subdomain. So that's where you're going to put whatever you want. Now, here's a tip. If you have multiple businesses and you want to use the one help desk, that's where it gets a little dicey. Right here, I would suggest putting something a little more on the generic side. So maybe it's just an acronym or something along those lines versus some specific business name if you wanted to funnel multiple businesses through here. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill this out right now. Okay, so I've gone ahead and filled it out. I just chose the subdomain show the demo. After I set this all up, I'll probably go in and delete the entire account. This is just because I wanted to show you guys how to set this up and all the little nuances of it. So I'm going to click on sign up for free. It's going to go ahead and probably it's checking the subdomain is available, and what I am probably going to get, actually we'll just go through it right here. Okay, so this is where it takes you immediately, and we're going to start setting this all up. So, okay, set up your help desk. Okay, I'll click on this. Let me skip the tour. How about that one? Okay, so there's one thing to notice about Freshdesk is there's actually two interfaces for it. This is their fresher modern interface they call Mint, but there's a way to revert to the old interface. I kind of prefer the older interface, so it's up to you if you like new or old. And I'll show you how to do that in this video. Now, I'm also getting this activation email sent to here. It wants me to confirm and that's my actual email address. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so when you receive that email to activate, it's going to take you to this screen right here where you can set up or continue setting up your account with Freshdesk or Freshworks. So just go ahead and fill out this information here, and you're also going to set up a password here. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, I've gone ahead and filled this out. I'm going to click on activate and log in. It said activated, and now when I'm in, it shouldn't have that message right here. Let's see, let me do a refresh. That should go away after a second here. Okay, good. So now it's activated, and I'm not going to get any funny messages like that. Okay, so now the way this works, or the way I have it set up, is I set up a specific email address. And so whenever and then I configured that email, so whenever someone sends an email to that specific email address, a copy of that email gets forwarded to Freshdesk, which automatically opens up the ticket. And then I have Freshdesk configured to automatically send them a confirmation email saying, hey, I got the email, and this is what you can expect for how long it's going to take me to respond to that email. And then I'm going to actually show you how to do all of that in this portion of the video right now. So what we need to do is we need to get to the settings. And so right here where it says admin, we can go ahead and click on that. And here's the various settings where you're going to set up these things I've talked about, that specific email address for receiving emails into this. There's also some email verification stuff we need to set up, but here's for everything. You can set up canned responses, all kinds of things like that here. And there's features in here that I haven't even explored just yet. So to set up this email processing that I just mentioned, we first need to set it up here in Freshdesk, and then I'm going to show you how to do that in your typical cPanel based hosting. So we need to click right here where it says email, and this is the email channel for support. And what we want to do first is right here, we want to set the email address that is going to be used. So I'm going to go ahead and click on edit, and then we're going to be able to put that in right here. So it says your support email. We're going to go ahead and change this to what we want that support email to be. So for me, I'm going to be using this with my domain name, showthedemo.com. So it'll be support@showthedemo.com. You can have it be whatever you want it to be at that point. And then right here is going to be the name that you want to appear when you reply to tickets. So it could be Adam Prizer or Adam@showthedemo or support@showthedemo. I would recommend not just using the word support, because it would be confusing if someone has multiple companies they deal with and it just says support. So say support at whatever the name of the company is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I just did that there. This would be maybe a little better like that. So someone would immediately know this is a response from support@showthedemo. Now, if you want to make it more personal, I know for me, what I do with WPCrafter, I try to make this a lot more personal. So I just put Adam@WPCrafter so people know right away. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and click on save. So what we need to do now is actually create that email account, receive the email, and then click on the button in the email to activate it. And then we will do this right here where it says configure Dkim, D-K-I-M. That's something we need to add in order for the email deliverability to be what it needs to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I already have pulled up typical cPanel hosting. This is a hosting account with InMotion Hosting, but if you're using any host that uses cPanel, it's going to kind of look the same, probably not have all this red since that's these guys' colors. So right here, you can start typing in email and it will pull up where we need to go, or you can click right here where it says email accounts. So we're going to go there, and then you're going to see a list of the email accounts that you have for your various domains that you have connected to cPanel. But what I'm going to do is go right here and create a new account for that support email. Okay, so this is what I did. I put support, I got my password in there, and for Mailbox Quota, this is an important caveat. The way I'm telling you to do this, the email is going to come in, and it's going to have a permanent home here in this email account and on your hosting account, but it's also going to be sent to Freshdesk. And the reason I want it here as well is so I always have a plan B. If Freshdesk was to blow up one day and get rid of their free tier, or I wanted to switch, I would still have a copy of every single email that was sent and received that I can reference later on for searching archival purposes. So right here for the mailbox quota, I put unlimited. Now this is, you got to keep an eye on this. So if you're going to receive a high volume amount of support requests that come in and replies, the size of this inbox could get large pretty quick. Now for me, it's not really getting large really quick. It's maybe going up about 20 megabytes per month because emails are relatively small. So I put unlimited. If you put it at a limit of 250, after the amount of emails takes up over 250 megabytes, it's going to start bouncing those emails that get sent to it back. You don't want that. Go ahead and put on unlimited, and you see right here, after we create the account, you can see the usage in the quota. So keep an eye on that usage so you can always see how much is being used. I turned off this welcome email, so I'll just go ahead and click on create account, and now I have that support at show the demo email account. Now, if you want to use an existing email account like this one that I have set up here that has the quota limit, I can go ahead and click right here where it says quota. I can change that to unlimited, and so now it's switched just like that. And as a matter of fact, I actually prefer using this more personable email address for here. So I'm going to go ahead again and click edit and just change out that email from support to Adam. Okay, I'll click on save, and now let me show you how to actually check this email. So your web hosting account typically has an email client built into it, so you don't need to configure this email account on your program Outlook or whatever tool you use to check your email. So if you go right here where it says more, you go down here to access webmail, it's going to pop up here, and it's going to give you an option of one of these three webmail applications. I always use Roundcube, and it's one with the most modern interface, and there's actually the email right there. So I'm going to double click on it, and it gives me this link. I'll click on that, and that's going to confirm this email address. Okay, so now I can close that, and I can go back here. If I do a refresh, it should change from unverified to verified. So what's going to happen now is when an email goes out from the system, well, it's going to use this email address and this name that we put here. So I think if you had it well, there's some options here. Like I said, I haven't gone through every little thing. I've been using this like crazy. I want every email that goes out to be from the same sender's name and the same sender's email address. So I do have someone helping me with some of my email addresses right now. It's my wife. And so I don't want her name going out, even though she has a separate Freshdesk account, because you can have multiple agents. I want everything to go out from that. Okay, so we did that. So now we have a couple steps. So what happens now is when someone sends that email to Adam at Show the Demo, it doesn't go to Freshdesk. So we need to set up what's called a forwarding rule so that any email sent to this email will actually be forwarded to this email right here. So we need to do that on our web hosting account. So I'm going to go back here, and I'll go back to the home of my cPanel. So it's going to be right here where it says forwarders. So right here, you could just start entering forwarders. It's up to you. But I'll click on forwarders right here. And so what we want to do is click on add forwarder. And so the address to forward is all emails sent to that Adam at Show the Demo. And then we're going to forward it to here. So what's going to happen is now when someone sends an email to Adam at Show the Demo, I'm going to get a backup copy in that email box that I can keep, and a copy goes off to Freshdesk, which creates the ticket. So I'll go ahead and click on Add Forwarder, and that is done. So now we need to do one more step in our setup. It's actually pretty easy, but it's a little on the techie side. We have to click right here where it says Configure Dkim. So essentially, this is going to give us some bits of information we need to copy and paste over into our web hosting account. So when we click on this, It shows it right here. Let's go ahead and expand it, or I guess just maybe click on configure and it will give us those values. So what we need to do is a lot of copying and pasting right now. So let me show you where you're going to copy each of these values and paste them in your web hosting account. Okay, so I'm going to back up once again. And what we want to do is look for this spot here that says Zone Editor. Okay, so like I said, it's a little technical. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Zone Editor. And then what we need to do is we're going to be creating what's called Cname Records. This is for email deliverability. Okay, so all the emails that go out of your help desk from Freshdesk are going to go out on their servers. So we need to add these little bits of information so that it will show that that Freshdesk is authorized to send emails from your domain name. Okay, so essentially what we're going to do is we're going to create 4 Cname records where we copy and paste. So let me go here. I'm going to click on the Cname record for the plus, and where it says name, we're going to copy in the host value, and where it says data, here we're going to copy that into Cname. So we've got 1, and we can go like this, and go like this, and click add Cname, and we just did the first record. So you're going to want to go through and add each of those 4 records. Now what happens is you can delete if you stopped using Freshdesk, there's no harm in leaving those there, but you can go ahead and click on manage, and we can scroll down, and these are all what's called your DNS records. So you would scroll down and you can easily delete the DNS record that we had just created, which was right here. So in that scenario, you just come here, click on delete, and it's gone for good. So you'll want to go ahead and do that for all 4 of these. They're going to be easy to spot because for the data value, it's all going to show Freshdesk, so you'll be able to easily come back here and spot these later on. And once I said this is, once again, this is just for email deliverability, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and add the other 3 right now, and then we'll test the verification of it. Okay, I've gone through and added all 4 records, so hopefully there isn't a propagation period where it might take a little bit of time for it to be verified, meaning clicking on this and actually seeing those there. So I'm not going to guarantee what happens when I click on that, but it's checking right now, and it looks like it was verified. So I am all good, and you should be all good at this point as well. So now what we've done is quite a lot here. We've configured the email address, so any email sent to this email address gets sent here. The ticket's automatically created, and we've set up that email repository, so we're keeping copies of all of these emails in case we ever wanted to stop using Freshdesk or just have a backup system. And we also set up right here the Dkim settings for email deliverability. So let's go ahead and jump back on into the settings, and let me show you around just a little bit more. So where I find my time mostly spent with the setup from this point is right here for email notifications. And this is where we can change the wording of notifications and turn certain notifications on or off. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of those notification options. So there's these 4 tabs here. So these are agent notifications. So these are notifications to you or the person on your team that's responding and processing these tickets. We have the requester notifications, and this is where you're going to want to pay attention, because this you want to, probably for me, I want to have as little notifications going to the person as possible, because I want this to seem as natural email versus having them know that I'm using a ticket desk. Carbon copy notifications and templates. So each of these actually have a template that you can modify that's assigned to it. So personally, I have all of these deactivated because I'm going to check when I have tickets by going into the app, or I'm going to check on my mobile device. There's a mobile app for it. So I go ahead and I turn off all of these, but you can figure out if some of these are something that you might want activated, but I personally do not want it activated. Let's click on this tab right here that says Requester Notifications. So I have all of these activated except right here where it says New Ticket Created. I do want the person that sends me the email to get an email back with specific wording to set the proper expectation of when they're going to hear a response. So I turn that on. Now what you can do is click on Edit, and you can do this for any of these templates. You can click on Edit, and you can go right here and you can change the wording of this to make it a lot more friendly and natural. So for me, I don't actually remember if I use some of these tokens. So here's a token where it takes the name of the person that is asking for support or sent the email in. I don't remember if I do that or not, because it doesn't always get it right, because people don't always put the right name as the in their email address when they configure it and then they send emails out. So sometimes it could say something embarrassing, but I bet I do that. And so here's what you may or may not want in. Right here's a token that says ticket URL. If you don't have that in there, they're not going to have any idea that they just sent an email and it's now in a help desk. And so you may want that, so it just feels like a natural back and forth email conversation. So for me, I have changed my subject line and I've changed this text entirely to make it seem more personable. Here are those placeholders where I called it a token. So these are the various placeholders, the name, first name, last name, the URL for the ticket that was just created. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'll just click on Save right here. And let's get out of here. Let's go back into our settings. So I spent a lot of time there. We're going to do a test ticket here in a second. Okay, so that was going to be when you scroll down to your email notifications right here. And here's where I spend time as well getting certain things set up right, and that's in canned responses. So essentially, it's a templated response. So you can, if there's a typical response that gets sent and then you might tweak it a little bit, you would go here and you would set up a variety of canned responses. I do that. I've got probably about a dozen canned responses, and then I usually personalize them a little bit. And this is how you would go ahead and add a canned response. So I got to tell you, we're pretty much set up right now. And this is pretty much set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my email client and I'm going to send an email in right now. Okay, so I went ahead and sent an email in, and voila, this is the response I immediately received back, and this was that automatic email notification that I set up. If someone sent in a email, they would receive this back, and we went through that template. So this is what the person would receive back, and this is what it would look like. It shows that name and that email that we configured just a moment ago. So now if I click on tickets right here, it's going to go ahead and show that ticket that is here. It has it tagged as new. You just go here and you can click on it. You can click on reply. Now when you click on reply, you also have this option right here for canned responses if you were using canned responses, and you can even change what it default popped up right here. Okay, so so that's pretty much it. And then what I end up doing is, now when I send a response, I might just send it, or I usually will mark it as pending, resolved, or closed. You can change some of these statuses, but I usually will mark it as one of those. And then it's out of sight, out of mind. It's still there. You can search and find it in Freshdesk, but it's out of that list of email tickets that you need to go through. And so when you're looking at the dashboard, then it will update some of these stats right here on the dashboard. Now there's one more thing that I wanted to show you, and please keep in mind I didn't show you every single thing. There's automations where emails can come in and you can tag them and auto assign them. You can do all kinds of tricked out stuff like that. I don't use any of that stuff. This just makes more sense for me if to manage, support, and help and email. I think it's way more important, way better way to process and receive emails than using an email client if you're a business and have any volume of email. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was, I said earlier on, there's an older version, the traditional Freshdesk interface, and this is the new one called Mint. A lot of people that have used Freshdesk for a while, they prefer the old one. I tried the old one after using the new one, and I actually like the old one. So let me show you how to switch back. I don't know how long they're going to let people switch back. I'm assuming for a long time. So if you click on where your avatar would be on the top right, it's going to show your options right here. And as you can see, the last option says switch to the old Freshdesk. And when you click on that, it's going to ask you why. You could just go ahead and click on switch. And now it's going to go ahead and switch you back to the old version. It's obviously not nearly as pretty, but there's less flashiness, but I find that it just works a little better for me. So you can click on tickets up here and see the list of tickets, and here's your filters for the tickets. And here's where you get back into your admin settings. Now you can create additional user accounts, and there's a whole lot more that you could dig into. But I gotta say that doing things this way just makes so much more sense. And if you start using it and testing it out, I think you would agree that it starts making more sense as well. Now, the good thing is when you respond to someone that emailed you, it's going to send them the response, and it's also going to send a copy of your response to that email address that we set up, adam@showthedemo.com. It's going to send a copy there. So you always have a copy of every email you received and every response that you made there in case you wanted to switch back to the email method. You're always going to have that repository and that record that you control, so not all your data's stuck in there. So anyways, this was Freshdesk. I'm not saying that this is the best help desk in the world. I think it's fantastic. I've been really enjoying it, and I would just encourage you to consider maybe the switch to a help desk, because it might make things a lot more efficient in your workflow. There'll be a lot less dropped balls and loose ends. Got to be careful how I say things. So if you use Freshdesk or a competing product, go ahead and put that information down in the comment section down below. If there's some kind of setting or way of using Freshdesk that I didn't talk about in this video, I'd love to hear how you use a ticket desk in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found some value out of it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.